righty. Thanks everyone for joining us today. This is our monthly webinar. Today we're going to talk about time and labor management and using isolved for that purpose. So a lot to cover today. We're going to talk about how employees can punch in and out. We're going to talk about how they request time off. We'll go through each of these items, editing time cards, configuring policies. We're going to look at approving those time cards. We'll look at customizations that we can do. We'll talk a little bit about department and labor allocation tracking, and then we'll process some payroll. So certainly we like to do these webinars every month. Some months we'll do a kind of a training like this on a certain part of the system. Some months we do more of an HR or industry specific webinar. We'll talk more about next month's webinar a little bit later, but let's hop into the system and take a look. And we are recording this today, so if anybody misses out on anything, you can always come back. John usually gets this posted on the website and on YouTube sometime tomorrow usually. So we will get that up there for you as well. So share my screen here. All right. So I like to start from an employee perspective, and we're going to look kind of at a mobile view here and see what the employee experience looks like. So we have lots of different options when it comes to employees punching in and punching out. But to be honest with you, the most common way we have clients do it is through the website or the mobile app. And our myhrstuff.com is mobile friendly, so they can save that to their phone, get right in there, and it looks just like this. If they don't want to be on their phone, they can do it from the website. Works the exact same way. With the mobile and web tools, we can restrict those based on a geofence or based on an IP address. So if you want someone to be at your facility when they're clocking in and clocking out, which is probably a good idea, we certainly can do that as well. We're going to go through a lot of different options today, but the nice thing to know is that timekeeping is super customizable. So we talked a little bit about configuring policies and shift differentials and overtime and different rules and alerts. In this demo, in this training, we do have a lot of those turned on. We'll talk a little bit about some of the other ones as we go through things as well. So this is what the employee experience will look like if they're logging in from their phone. That's kind of like I said, the primary way we see people do that. It is worth noting that we do have physical time clocks that folks can use. We can install those at your facility. They can punch in a code or use a swipe card to get logged, punched in, punched out. From those physical time clocks as well, they can choose labor or other items as well. So, but let's focus on the app today, show you how that works. We're going to talk about the employee punching in, employee looking at their time, editing their time if they're able to. Then we're going to look at a manager view of things from within the app. And then we'll kind of look at the admin view of things as well. So a couple of different levels of access and review. So from within myhrstuff.com, if they come here, they're going to be able to log in, get their information. Certainly there's a lot of information in here as far as managing their payroll, direct deposit, and so forth. But today we're going to be focusing mostly on the time and attendance piece. From their home screen, they have this little time clock icon. This is how they clock in and clock out. They just click on this, and then we have a quick punch and we have a detailed punch. So if you are collecting any information when they're punching out, think what department are you clocking into, for example, that will require the detailed punch. If they were just doing a quick punch, literally they would come and click this, they would punch in or punch out. In this example, we have the detailed punch set up. So it comes in and it shows the last time they punched out, right? So it was out at 4:30 yesterday, and it's going to punch us in today here. So it is always tracking our location. So that's really important as well for tracking purposes. We can come in here and select, in this situation, we're using a department. So I'm going to come in and punch Riley into Department 5 and hit save. And this is all they have to do to punch in, punch out. So they're punched in, punched out, and they're done here. So again, you can punch back in at any time and go from there. If they come in here and they go to the pay or the time section, they can come see their time card at any point, right? So we have some information in here. We're looking at the whole pay period, but certainly you could look at just today. If they wanted to just look at today, they could look at just the week and so forth. So each of these allows you to kind of click the little arrow here and you can see exactly when they punched in. So 7 a.m. and then they punched out at 1. This client is set up with an auto lunch punch. So it's automatically after they work their 6 hours, going to punch them out for 30 minutes for a meal. So that is an option. That is not something that's required. There are other meal options as well that they can do. in there as well. This is just one of those options. And then again, they punch them back in and punch them out. So they can see that. If they have the ability to edit this, they can do so. They can come in here and click the little dot, 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 and click edit. Again, we don't generally recommend that employees have the ability to edit their punches, but some people want that. For example, we let our employees do this. I trust them to be able to come in and punch themselves in and punch themselves out. We still review the time cards, of course, but they can come in here and make these changes if they want to or are allowed to. So they can also add their own records here. So they can come in here and say, yeah, I need to come punch in on a specific date, whatever it is. I'm going to come in, punch in at 8 o'clock, and I'm going to punch out at 3:30, right? Punch in, punch out. Oops, punch out the wrong day. So they can come in here, and again, we can require them to choose a department. What department did they work in? And hit save. So now those hours are on there. And again, you can see in there, it put a lunch in there for them, so they don't have to remember to punch out and punch in. This little guy here, we have an alert on today. So we have a punch in, we don't have a punch out. We're missing a punch out here. So that is an error. We've got the little alert here, and that's why we have that alert. So I'm going to leave that for now so we can see what it looks like from the manager side and the admin side of things. But they could come in here and do that if they wanted to. If they scroll down, they can look at their total hours. They can come in and look at how their labor is distributed. And we're using numbers for these departments, but certainly you could use names as well. If you had a front of the house, back of the house, or admin, production, whatever you wanted to call them, you can call them whatever you like. If there were any adjustments are things like tips. If they're collecting tips and want to collect that on a punch out, we can do those. You could also collect mileage or any other number of things on a punch in or punch out as well. If there are alerts, so this one is an in really late alert. So we have a schedule associated with this employee as well, and saying, hey, they punched in late today. Do you want to look at that? Do you want to dock them? What happened? Why did that happen? And so forth. So they can see that from their time card. And this is the employees view the time card. They again they can review things and go in there and get them as much as they want. If they have access, again, they can edit them or add their own punches. Again, not something that we traditionally do, but is something that's available. So I'm going to go back and we're going to come to time, and I'm going to go to time off. So from here, the employees can see their time off, what they have available, what they've used, what they've taken. If they have upcoming time off, so this employee requested some time off, has not been approved yet. Because it's pending, they can still come and delete it if they want to. It will also show their past time off. I'm going to go in here and add a request. So you can come in here. We have different policies. We customize these policies based upon your company policy, right? So you write out a policy. We build that in the system with all the accruals, all the tracking, rollovers or not. Whatever your policy says, we build that in here so that they can show their time. So we're going to go in here. Let's choose vacation. So it shows exactly what they have available, what's available after their request. And I'm just going to come put a day in here next week. We need, I need a little bit of time off here. I'm going to take a long weekend over Memorial Day weekend. Put that in there. And I'm going to hit submit. Now that I've submitted that, the manager has just gotten an email saying, hey, Riley submitted a time off request. You need to log in and review that and approve that or decline that. We'll look at that in just a second, but there's workflow for that. Once the manager has approved it or declined it, they would get the employee would get an email saying it's been approved or declined. I'll also show you from the time area is the calendar. So in this demo right now, we just have, you can see we have little dots here, which will show their time off. If you were using the company calendar and you gave them permission, you could allow them to see others' time off if you wanted. So before they request their own time off, they could see if their coworker has time off, because chances are if their coworker who does the same job has that day off, their manager is not going to let them have that time off as well. So you can kind of see that information in here as well. So that's about it from an employee perspective on the time piece. Pretty simple. Again, clock in, clock out. That's the majority of what these folks are doing from an employee perspective to manage their time. Again, lots more stuff in my HR stuff, but we're just talking about time for today. I'm going to switch my user here, and I'm going to go to the manager, right? So we talked about the managers having access to, review time cards, approve them, approve time off, decline time off, and so forth. So there's a lot of things that managers can do in here as well. And this is all mobile friendly too. They don't have to log into the admin side of things. We can set the managers up with as much or as little access as you want. We really encourage our clients to push manager access and responsibility down to their managers, right? If you're the payroll person, you don't necessarily know what time Riley got here and left. We really encourage folks to push that on their managers and tell their managers, come in here every day and look at time cards. Don't wait till the end of the pay period, because I don't remember what my employees did 2 weeks ago. So it's really important to stay on top of that. We say that timekeeping is cultural, and it really is, right? It needs to be pushed down from the top, and it needs to be an expectation that your employees are clocking in and clocking out as they're supposed to, and your managers can review and approve and enforce that. So certainly the ability for the managers to come in here at any time and take a look at that. So I'm going to come in here again to my navigation, and I have this new managed tab. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go to tasks. And from here, I can see all sorts of different things. So I can see who's punched in. So Riley's punched in right now. I can see who's punched out of my employees. So you can see who's in and who's out, right? Which is really nice. If there are any alerts on my employees, so we have some different alerts here based on that. These are missing punches from the demo and so forth. But you can take a look at those. You can also see all your pending transactions. So we don't have any missing punches we have to look at, but we do have some time cards we need to review and approve. We have some time off that we need to review. So I'm going to start with the time cards, right? So we can come in here and look at the time cards. We can see a total of all of our employees, what's been approved, what hasn't been approved. I can come see all my employees here. We can see Hazel has an alert here. We're not sure what's going on with that. I'm going to click into Hazel and see what it looks like. I want to see the detail of what is going on here, right? So we know on this day, there's an in punch, but there's no out punch, right? So we need to fix that. I'm going to come in here and edit this. We can see what's going on here. We can fix it. We can delete it if we need to, and go put some new time in there for them, and so forth. So I'm going to just go ahead back into Hazel here, and we are going to go to the detail, and I'm going to delete this one. And we can always add another one. We're going to do add in here, and we can add those punches in. So if I come back to my summary, when I'm ready, I can approve that time card. You can go through exactly and see everybody's time card. We can go through them. You can see exactly what departments they've worked in and so forth. Again, I'll approve Riley's time card as well. Oh, we have errors and alerts on that one, so we have to fix those first. But you can come back here and you can see exactly who's here. You can approve them in bulk if you want to. Once I've looked at them all, I can come in here and I can just hit approve, right? Oh, again, we have some errors and alerts. We can't approve that one. Got to fix those. But that's kind of cleaning up the time cards. You can see everybody in here. We can look at those and look at the time cards. Again, I encourage people to look at the time cards every day. Don't wait, and so far. We can go ahead and look at our time off requests. So here are these ones that Riley requested for next week. So it looks like they need a vacation day. Riley needs a break, right? So I'm going to come in here and just approve this one and process. And now Riley just got an email saying it's been approved. But we can't afford to do this one. We don't have enough time. We don't have any staff. I'm going to reject that one. If Riley goes and logs in now, she's going to see that on her time card. It automatically adds those absences to her time card for next week. So we don't have to worry about that. If I come in and look at Riley's time card for next week, it's going to automatically add, here's that. Didn't add that on there. Is that within the pay period? Should automatically add that absence in there for her. So, and those automatically go on the time card. And if she logs in, let's go back and look at her. Let's see from our time off that we have upcoming approved time off. We don't have anything else pending. Those have all been approved. Let's go to the time card. Those go. Let's not put hours in that one. Should work on there, but those the absences should show on there for that. So, and again, you can come in here and add another absence from a manager perspective anytime. The nice thing is the managers that are in here, there's no separate login for them. They're seeing their employee information, but they're also seeing their own information, right? So they can come in and do their own time if they need to. So they can see their own time card. They can request their own time off for their manager or supervisor to review and approve. So there's no separate login from a manager perspective. So that's the majority of the employee and the manager perspective. Let's take a look at an admin perspective, because there's a lot more things we can do from an admin perspective. So we're going to log into isolved on the admin side of things. And I'm going to come into my demo account. And we can look at all of this stuff from an admin perspective. So I'm going to come to employee self-service, and I want to go to the time card. So I know Riley has information in there. We'll just keep working with her. We can look at those. We can come see the time card here. This is your admin view of the time card. So we have an issue here. This pink color means we have an issue. I want to come in here as an admin and take a look at that and delete that. Okay, we don't want to have that problem anymore. And I can refresh that. It'll give me my totals down here at the bottom, my regular hours, my department totals, and so forth. And I get my totals over on the right-hand side for the whole pay period. Similar to on the My HR stuff, you can look at these by the week. You can look at these by the day, and so forth. And we can navigate between the weeks here as well. So we can also put in time off for Riley if we wanted to as an admin. So I can come in here and say, yeah, we're going to use vacation, and we're going to come in here, put in some time, 8 hours, and hit save. And now for next Friday, why are my absences not working? I must have a glitch in my demo company. Those aren't working. I apologize about that. But those will show right on the time card as well, just like a regular punch here, but for time off. And those will process with payroll. So we can come in here and do a group punch as well. So if there was a situation where you had a meeting, for example, you can come in and punch everybody in, punch everybody out for an hour or 2 hours or whatever your meeting was. So you can filter. I want to see my department, and I want to see everyone in department 5. And I can come in here and say, yep, I want all these people, and we're going to punch on the 25th. Let's punch this week. We can do that. We can put any notes in there. And we've just done a regular punch. We punch them at 8 o'clock, and we're going to punch them out at 9:30 and hit save. Oops. So now if I go to one of these employees, let's go to Joe Johnson. I'm going to go back to time card. We have our navigation at the top here. We can click to go to our list again. We come to Joe Johnson. We have that punch in there. So we just punched all the people that were in that department, department 5, in for an hour and a half for that meeting. So that was really nice, really easy to do there. Talking about navigation, you can always search for an employee in here at the top. So if you wanted to jump right to one, you could do that. If you wanted to go through your alphabetical list, you can click through those as well. Really easy to see those punches. So talked about the group punches. We also talked about absences a little bit. So those absences are in here, right? You can see exactly when their absences are, if they've been approved or not. It's very easy to, again, to add one as well. So if you wanted to come put one in here, you could do that. You can look through these. You can filter them by absence policy. You can go back and see the history if we use our filters here. Go back and forth. Lots of ability to view those there. You can also see the balances, right? So this screen will tell you what their balances are for all their plans, what their projected balances will be at the end of the year if they're an accrual employee, if they have an accrued balance, right? If they're earning every year or every week, for example. Everybody's got a little bit different way of doing their PTO policy, but you can see these are how the plans are set up. So on the first pay of the year, they get 120 hours, and that's probably based on years of service, right? So they've been here a while, so they get a lot. Maine paid leave, we earn per hour worked, right? So that's a little bit different. That's a true accrual model. So the more hours they work, they get that time. We can set those up and customize them to however they want. You can see this individual employees calendar will show you their information, but you can also look at the admin calendar, which will show you all employees in here. So you can see Riley's got these 2 days off. We have Memorial Day coming up. We can see any pending requests that are in here and so forth. You can also see the history of what's been reviewed and approved in here. So this is really nice. When we're reviewing and approving time off, we always look at the calendar to see who is in here. So want to make sure we're not letting everybody take the Friday before Memorial Day off, right? So once we've gone through, the time cards have all been reviewed, they've been approved. Again, these can be verified and approved within here, so we can come in here and approve them from this perspective. You can also preview the check. You can look at if they're using scheduling, they can look at that, and we have a time card report, which you can print off and look at, which will show you the totals as well. A little bit different view. I'll let that load. While that's going, there's also a spreadsheet view in here. Some people prefer the spreadsheet view to the calendar view. I like the calendar view myself, but this is a little bit different way of looking at it. You can see the punches in and punches out on one line, which is just a different way of looking at it. Here's that time card report, shows you exactly when they punched and so forth. If they punched out for lunch, what department they clocked into. Again, we talked about labor tracking, and certainly we're using numbers, but could be names as well. So that's not a problem. Again, you can preview that check if you're an admin. Supervisors would not have this ability, just the admins. We can certainly come in here and take a look at that. While we're looking at time cards, we certainly talked about the different functionalities that we can do in here. So lots of absence tracking. We can contribute, or we can configure your labor to be any way you want. So we have some folks that are tracking jobs or events or different things like that. We can create that tracking. We can customize holidays. We can customize shift differentials, different rates of pay. If someone clocks into a different department, they get a different rate of pay. All sorts of different things we can do in here. You name it, we pretty much can keep track of it and customize the timekeeping system to do that. So lots of flexibility in that. So once the time cards have been reviewed and approved, it's pretty simple. If we come back to payroll and process, all we have to do is lock all the time cards, and then we can commit the time cards. And I may get an error here. I'm just going to ignore the errors because this is my demo environment, and I'm going to commit those time cards. Usually we want to read these errors. This just says there's uncommitted time for previous pay periods because this is my demo environment, but that's all you have to do. All that time has just been moved into payroll. We can come and preview our payroll reports right from here. There's also timekeeping reports if you wanted to look at totals. So we can look at our hours detail reports, our time card reports, uncommitted time reports. If we want to see what time cards have been verified or not, reviewed. If there are any alerts, we can look at those. There's all these reports here. But if we're ready to go, we can certainly just go look at our payroll register and get this rocking and rolling. So we can come see what these are. There's no moving over time data. There's no transferring, exporting, importing. It's literally just hit lock and commit, and you're done. And we've run payroll here, and Riley's check is ready to go. So she's got some overtime, so that is calculating appropriately in here as well. And then once you're ready, you just hit process, and that's about as simple as it goes. So that's running payroll. So that's an overview of timekeeping. Certainly a quick overview. We like to keep these pretty brief. I'm just going to go back to my slideshow here for a second. I think we covered everything here. I do want to just remind everyone that all of our clients and their employees have access to my HR stuff. You saw a lot of that today and the benefits of that. So it's more than just the time piece. There's, you can get all your pay stubs, W-2s, updating direct deposits and contact information. They can use all the timekeeping features. We have benefit enrollment within there as well. So no more paper benefit enrollments. You can use submit expense reimbursements within there. We also have the employee marketplace. And anytime employees or clients have issues getting in there, we put a nice library together of the most frequently asked questions with help videos and so forth, quick 1-2 minute videos and step-by-step instructions on how to do things. If I forgot my password, if I'm locked out, how do I do this? How do I do that? You can go to papertrails.com/help. And right on our website is some great resources for all of that. Next month, we are going to do a kind of quick topic on employee retention practices. So if you have some turnover, we've got some tricks up our sleeves we want to share with you to help you retain those employees. We certainly know it's a crazy environment out there. So I'd be happy to entertain any questions if you have them. You can put them in the chat. You can raise your hand. However you want to get in touch with me, we can talk about any questions with timekeeping. Not seeing any burning questions yet, but certainly feel free to reach out to our team. Any one of our processors is happy to help you with a timekeeping question. If there's things that you'd like customized or built, or you'd like to start using timekeeping, certainly those are things we can talk about as well. It's a really great tool, helps you stay organized. Everything's in one system, and it's really slick. So give it another minute here for some questions. I'm not seeing any. So we found a few minutes back in our day, I think. I'll give you all that time back. I appreciate everyone for joining us today. We hope to talk to you very soon, and hopefully we're on next month's webinar on the 20th. Thanks so much. Have a great afternoon, everyone.